Just get these editing tricks right, and you'll be better than 90% of CapCut editors. They're important, impactful, and will fast-track your way to being a better CapCut editor. I've edited thousands of videos inside of CapCut and generated hundreds of millions of views. These are the tricks I wish I knew sooner. Also, if you're the 1% that is super serious about being the best possible CapCut editor, I crafted CapCut Lab for you. It's the fastest and best way to become a professional CapCut editor. There's no obligation, but check it out if you're keen. It's a link in the description. This first trick is used all over Reels and TikToks, and I've used it in some viral videos. It's darkening your background while keeping your subject light. This obviously helps to place things like graphics and text behind your subject. Let me show you how to do it. With your video on your timeline, go to Media and then swipe down to Library. Then under Trending, you'll find this black background with no time in the top right. This means that it's a still. Go ahead and drag that onto your timeline and place it above your video. We're then going to stay selected on that black background and increase the size until it fills your frame. Then select your video layer, hold down Alt, and drag it above that black background. Then select it on your top video layer. You're going to go to Video, Remove Background, and select Auto Removal. This is going to isolate your subject onto that top video layer. Then go to your black background, go to Video Mask, say Add Mask, and let's click on the Split option. We're then going to drag this feather option all the way up to full. That is 100 points of feathering. What we're then going to do is go to the beginning of our timeline and select Mask Settings, and then click on this little square option which says Add Keyframe. We can then slide forward on our timeline just by a few seconds, add another mask setting keyframe, and then use this last keyframe option, click on it, and then drag our line all the way to the top. What you'll see now is between those keyframes, we've created this gradient darken effect where we can place whatever text, graphics, or just separate our subject from the background. You can auto-cut portions of silence or pauses directly from your video in a matter of seconds. With your video on your timeline, you're going to right-click on that video and select Transcript. CapCut is then automatically going to analyze your video for areas of pauses, repeats, and filler words. Once it's done, go ahead and select Delete. You can then see that we've gone from one solid video with pauses to a bunch of smaller clips where those pauses are now removed. When you're making a talking head video like I'm doing right now with lots of talking and pauses and retakes, it just saves a ton of time. Our next technique is how we hide cut points to create a seamlessly smooth edit. It's called a jump cut, and there's a particular trick that professional editors use. Now that we've removed our pauses, if I play our timeline, you'll see that between these two clips, there's a jump point. Now, you may like how that looks, but I like, again, to create a seamless edit. What you're going to do is stay selected on your second clip, go to Video Scale, and increase the size slightly. But what you'll see is we have a problem when playing between these two clips. In our first clip, our eye line is down here, and in our second clip, our eye line has been raised. That means every time your clips cut and we create that jump cut, your viewer's eyes are going to be up and down, which isn't a great way to cut. So there's a way that we're going to mitigate this. Selected on these three lines, you're going to go to Guides and Rulers and then create a horizontal guide. Then go to your first clip and drag this blue line directly over your eyes. We can also zoom into our player window to get a clear view of this. Then on your second clip, the one that you've zoomed in on, you can see that our eye point is all the way up here. So I'm just going to select on that video and drag my video down until our eye point is directly on that line one more time. Let's reset the size in our player window, and when we play that now, our clip zooms in and our eye line stays exactly the same, leading to a smooth jump cut. When you're done with your guide, go back to those lines, say Guides and Rulers, and then select Clear Guides, and that'll remove that blue line. So on the topic of the best possible tools for you to use while editing, there is a tool that I have been absolutely loving lately, and it's called Podcastle. So you know how creating short form videos can take so long. You've edited your whole main video and now you want to transform it into some incredible shorts. Well, Podcastle has a feature called AI Clips, and it's ridiculously good. You just upload your video and it automatically finds the most engaging moments and turns it into clean, vertical, social-ready clips for you to use. Captions, pacing, all done. I've been using it to build out my TikToks and my Instagram Reels without having to sit through and edit hours of footage. And the other feature I've been loving is AI subtitles. Podcastle generates super accurate captions instantly, and the styling options are actually good. You can customize the look, tweak the timing, and clean everything up in a really visual, creator-friendly way. It just takes that extra polishing step off your plate. These are only a few of the incredible features in Podcastle. If you want to try it out, I'll leave a link below. Go check out Podcastle and level up your content workflow. Honestly, you may find that once you start editing with it, you won't ever want to edit without it. Back to the CapCut video for some more incredible tricks. Another way to create a smooth edit is by using something called smooth zooms, and this is one of the most popular effects used in almost every YouTube video. It's a great effect for editing and to create a point of focus where you're making an important point. Find the clip that you want to zoom in on and select it. Then go over to your Video Basic tab and select Transform and Add Keyframe. Then swipe ahead on your timeline and create another keyframe. Staying over the second keyframe, we're going to go ahead and drag our scale tab slightly up to 118%. Now, when we scrub between those two keyframes, you'll see that we've created this zoom. But this is just a linear zoom and it's not that professional. So what we're going to do is right-click on our clip and say Show Variable Speed Animation. Then you'll see that on our scale tab, we have this straight line indicating that there's a change in our scale. Go ahead and click on that line to highlight it yellow. Go to this little graphs icon and then click on cubic ease. You'll see that our straight line is no longer straight, but curved. Now when we play that scene, we've created a beautiful smooth zoom in. And this leads us on to our next technique, which is the fact that CapCut gives you the option to speed up or slow down your zooms or your keyframes. Let's say I felt like my zoom was a little bit too slow. I could go back to that base video layer and simply drag this keyframe closer to the first one. Remember that the closer your keyframes are together, the faster that animation is going to happen, and the further apart they are, the slower that animation is going to happen. You can see that there is a problem though. Our cubic ease kind of looks a little bit wonky. So we can reselect that line, go back to your graphs icon, and then reselect cubic ease. That's going to reset that cubic ease graph so that when we play that, our zoom happens a whole lot faster. You can get super creative with voice effects directly inside of CapCut, and there's a couple of unique and creative use cases for this. Select on the video or audio layer that you want to change. Then go to the audio tab and select on voice changer. We could use something like post blast to create a hospital scene. Or maybe you want to sound like you're in an empty hallway while you're doing your recording to exaggerate a certain point. For this, you can either select the echo effect or select something like church. I like using an effect like echo because we can increase or decrease our quantity and strength for a more exaggerated or reduced effect. Or maybe you want to turn your voice into something super cinematic. For this, you're going to go to Voice Characters, swipe down, and select Commentary Male. This now turns your voiceover
into something out of a movie.
And a bonus is you don't just have to use these voice effects on an actual voice. You can add a sound effect into CapCut and use the voice effects on that sound effect to create a super cinematic sound. Did you know that you can find anyone inside of your media browser? If you have multiple people in the footage that you've shot, all you need to do is have them inside of your media bin, then select on the search tab, and CapCut will automatically analyze all the people within your video clips, and you can then find them. If I then click on myself, I'll find all the video clips and photos with me in them and the exact time in those videos that I feature. This makes it so easy to find specific people in their specific moments if you have a lot of clips and B-roll in your media browser. Did you know that in CapCut you can add a shadow to anything you want? Let me show you how to use this. Here we have a CapCut logo on a white background. The problem is we can't actually see the CapCut logo because our background is white. So what we're going to do is duplicate our CapCut logo. We're then going to select on that bottom layer. We're going to go to Adjust. We're going to go to Curves, and on our first Luma curve, we're going to drag this line all the way down. What we've essentially done there is we've created a black version of that CapCut logo. Then on that CapCut layer, right-click and select Create Compound Clip. We're then going to go to our effects panel and search for an effect called Blur. You can then select the first option and drag that directly onto that compound clip. You've now created your shadow. If you want to increase the size of that shadow, select on that compound clip, go to Video Basic, and turn up your scale. You'll see that the more that we increase the scale, the bigger that shadow becomes. You can also reposition that shadow simply by holding on that layer and dragging it to the position that you want. When you have voice in your timeline, you can go to Text, Auto Captions, and create auto captions. CapCut will automatically identify your voice and add captions for every specific word. As soon as our automatic captions are placed, you can select on one, go to animation, and whereas a normal default text layer would only have in, out, and loop animations, we now have this new tab of captions animations. Also, I've created a personal set of favorites, and you can just take a few seconds to look at that and pause the video if you need, but these are ones that I really like how those captions animate. Sometimes in CapCut, I edit a number of different videos within that specific timeline because I'm using the same elements, captions, or we've shot it in the same place. But I don't just want to export my whole timeline at one point and then have to cut those videos up individually. So what you can use are your in and out points. Within this one point of the timeline, we have numerous different videos all separated by this yellow background. I just want to export this video right here. So I'm going to go to the first frame of that video by moving my playhead there, and I'm going to select I on my keyboard. This creates a portion of gray on the left saying that nothing before this is going to be exported. Then I can go to the last frame that I want to export and I can select O. This is going to create a portion to the right of that also isn't going to be exported. Now when we click export, CapCut will only export this portion that we've highlighted. If you want to double check, go to export and you'll see that the duration is 38 seconds. Not the whole timeline, but it's just exporting these 38 seconds that we've selected with our I and our O points. If you've ever slowed down the speed of a clip and then your clip looks super choppy and unprofessional, this one is for you. You can create super slow motion in CapCut and you don't even have to film in slow motion. Here we have a video of someone doing some fire dancing, and all we have to do is select on that video, go to speed, and start to turn down our speed. By selecting 0.5, we've essentially slowed down that clip by 2 times. And when we play that, you can see how choppy and just unprofessional this looks. All we then have to do is go to smooth slow motion, select that, and where it says frame blending, you're going to turn that to optical flow. Now, whereas this takes a little bit more time to apply, you're going to get a much better slow motion effect. Let's wait for this to apply and I'll show you the effect. Now, when I play my timeline, we've slowed that clip down by 50%, but we have this smooth, clear slow motion. Motion blur helps to create realism because everything in life that moves has some sort of motion blur attached to it. So not having it kind of feels amateur, and then once we added our animations and movement, feels super professional. All you have to do is go to the file that you have motion on, right click and say create compound clip. Then still selected on that compound clip, you're going to go to video, swipe down until you find motion blur. Selecting motion blur, it gives you an option for blur intensity and blend. I find that leaving my motion blur at 100 creates a really nice effect. This is what the before looks like without the motion blur applied, and once we have the motion blur applied, this is what that animation looks like. So apply your motion blur wherever there's movement or animations in your video. In CapCut, you automatically get access to thousands of professional sound effects. Simply by going to audio and then selecting on the sound effects panel, we can search for any sound effect we wish. Add whooshes and swishes to any movement and transitions. Add risers to create anticipation in your video, and something called a hit when you make an important or lasting point. When you have a song on your timeline, you can stay selected over this little icon here and select either beats 1 or beats 2. What CapCut is going to do is automatically identify the prominent beat points in that song and add little markers. If I zoom in here, you can see that at the start of each beat, we have that little marker. This makes it almost too easy to line up your clips and time your clips to cut and start exactly on the beat of your song. If you use a lot of reference media from YouTube, movies, or series like me in your edits, this trick is going to help save a ton of time. On our timeline, we have an intro from Mr. Beast. What I can do with my video on my timeline is right-click on that video and say Split Scenes. CapCut is going to automatically identify every single individual shot in that scene and create a cut point on those shots. We can then stay selected on the shot we want and simply lift that out of the scene and place that specific shot into our video. If you want a drag and drop way to increase the perceived quality of your videos, there's a filter that I use all the time. Selected on my filter tab, I can go to the life option and then find one called clear. I'll then drag that onto my timeline and extend that over the entire timeline. If you want to see the before, that's the before and things are looking a little bit dull, and when I add that, the perceived overall quality of my video increases. So use the clear filter to add some quality to your videos. Right next to filter, you'll find a tab called adjustment, adjustment where we can hover over custom adjustment and click that little plus icon. This is going to add a yellow adjustment layer onto our timeline. Let's go ahead and extend that over all of the clips of us talking. What's cool about an adjustment clip is when you click it, you get access to all the color features that CapCut has. This means that you can make color adjustments to that adjustment clip, and all the video clips that you have underneath that adjustment clip will automatically be affected. So to clearly demonstrate this, let's select on the adjustment clip and remove all the saturation from our video. Now when I swipe through my timeline, you'll see that all those clips, even though they're individual clips, none of them have any color in them. And this is really great for if you have a ton of different videos on your timeline. Make those tweaks to the adjustment layer and all of your clips will be impacted. And this brings us to one of our last tricks, but arguably one of the coolest. So when you're selected on your adjustment layer, you'll see a tab called HSL. This stands for hue, saturation, and brightness. What this does is it allows us to individually manipulate certain colors within our video. This is great for if you want to remove all the colors out of your video and maybe leave one prominent color that remains, or in my case, for a talking head video, you'll see that we have some orange lights in our scene. But I don't think that this orange is exaggerated enough. So I could select on that orange tab and increase the saturation of that orange. You'll see that this is the before and this is the after, where we've now created a much more dramatic effect. Let's say we wanted to turn up the brightness of that orange or decrease the brightness. We could do so as well by moving the brightness slider. And then one of the coolest features is you can actually change the color of that. So by moving the hue slider over to the right, our orange is now yellow. And by moving it over to the left, we've created a much different hue. Again, before and after. Because we're selected on that orange circle, it is only going to impact that orange color. So be creative and use the HSL tab to create some really cool creative effects. When you have a vertical video on your timeline, maybe for a reel or a TikTok, it's not great to edit it in the standard player window. This is when you can make use of the vertical editor. Simply by clicking on this option right here and selecting vertical, your player window will move all the way over to the right, where you get a much bigger preview window in order to edit your TikTok or reel. In CapCut, you can make an instant freeze frame just like this. And it's super easy how to do this. Select on the video and find the point that you want to add that freeze frame. Then all you have to do is hover over this icon right here and select on the freeze option. If we zoom in here, you'll see that we've created this 3-second point of freezing. And then sometimes I like to drag a pause icon so that as we transition from our video, we have this pause icon and then we get back into the video once that pause icon disappears. And for our last trick, did you know that you can save videos for future timelines with a click of a few buttons? I created these logo animations for a different YouTube video that I was doing. If I wanted to save these for a future project, I could right-click on that video and say Save Preset. Then if I go to Media, go to Yours, and go to My Presets, I can find that exact video that I made. The best part about this is, let's say I open up a different project, I can find that preset that we saved, I can import it onto the timeline, and there we have that logo animation. So maybe you have a logo animation that you've designed in CapCut, save it as a preset and you'll instantly get access to use it in every single project that you create. It's been a great time teaching you today. If you're serious, once again, about CapCut, check out CapCut Lab. Maybe you'll find something that you like. I don't doubt that it's going to be super beneficial, as everybody that has taken the course has given great feedback that they've learned a ton.